the title of my presentation is quite simple and very relevant to everybody. The title of my presentation is how to be successful. How to be successful. Now, the first question you have to ask yourself is, why do you want to be successful? Now, for men, it turns out for men, the primary reason why men want to be successful is, why do you want to be successful? Primary reason why men want to be successful is, it turns out the data shows very clearly the primary reason why men want to be successful is they get chicks, is what the data shows. Now, I do a lot of corporate functions, and at corporate functions I can't get up there and say get chicks, so I have a corporate version. Why do men want to be successful? The corporate version is that they do that in order to increase DNA propagation opportunities, or DPO. And that's the memo apologizing for the speaker that said get chicks. Why do men want to be successful after that? They want to be successful so they can go to a higher level of mansplaining. A higher level of mansplaining, which is to be able to pontificate, is where ultimately we want to go to. Now, for women, why do women want to be successful? For women, I don't really know. Need to do a little more research on that. Anyway, so that brings me to my success flow chart. My success flow chart. So we start with the first step of my success flow chart, where you ask the question, do you want to be a success? That's the first important question you have to ask yourself in this flow chart. If the answer to that is no, it's quite simple. Just get premium cable. You'll be all set. On the other hand, you do want to be a success. And next very important question you have to ask yourself is, well, are you okay with being an asshole? And the answer is yes. Okay, I can't help you at that point. You're all good right there. On the other hand, you do want to be a success and you're not comfortable with being an asshole. It gets much more complicated. Then it's like, well, were you born with a lot of money? Are you sure you're not an asshole? It all feeds down here. I can't help you. That's the honest motivational message. I can't help you. I'll sell you a book and a tape, but really I can't help you. Because the typical motivational message looks like this. This is a typical motivational message. So there's your goal. Your goal is behind this brick wall. So you're supposed to fire yourself at the brick wall, fail, believe in self, and read a stupid book, and then keep repeating this process. When the honest motivational message should be, maybe you should give up. Because some people have embraced the brick wall, and we need these people. They're very important. They embrace the brick wall and just focus on what is for lunch. And that makes their day. something special on Friday. Now, I've been asked to talk quite a bit about the multi-generational workplace when I do corporate functions, which I find surprising because it's like it's always been there. When I first started working, it was quite simple. The older people just didn't listen to you, and that's how it worked. And somehow it's supposed to be different now. But the thing I think people need to understand things about each generation. So I got a little summary of each generation. Now I like to go back. I'd like to start with my parents, my grandparents' generation, my parents' generation. Their goal was to not die. Quite simply, the brick wall was, you're probably gonna die soon. This is true. All of my grandparents were born in the 19th century. Both of my grandfathers had their first wives die, which some people say that's why there was less divorce back then. So now my parents' generation, otherwise known as the greatest generation, for them, their goal was to have a job and to have 1 million kids. The obstacle to that was the Depression and World War II. Once that was over, they got a job and 1 million kids and regretted it. Baby boomers, and back then, initially, they wanted just a groovy life, man. Is what they wanted. The obstacle, the brick wall to that was the parents kept talking about the Depression and World War II. And now most of them are Republicans. It's amazing. Now that brings me to the millennials. For the millennials, the goal is the parent's goal for the child. Okay. The brick wall to that is all kinds of reasons. How to get around this brick wall? That is where, once again, the parent comes in and takes them out, carries them over. There you go. Now, eventually, the helicopter runs out of gas because, it's like there he is, the millennial with his participation trophy there, and the expectation to be a billionaire with some app idea where Google does all the work. Eventually, reality sets in, and they end up just becoming a Uber driver. I love it when it can reach the young people. Now one of the things that makes it very difficult to be successful is something that I call the conservation of suckiness. Now this is where I have to get into a little bit of math with you folks. Here is my equation for the conservation of suckiness. So capital S is the total suckiness in your life. It is equal to the sum of all the little things that suck in your life. This is basically a constant. You can remove little things that suck in your life, but something else will come along and take its place. Now we all have a sucky glass. So here is the sucky glass. And there is capital S, the level. Now we know some people have a higher level, some are lower. So the motivational people say this is all you got to do. All you got to do is buy my book. Just buy my book and then attach the valve to the sucky glass and let the suckiness just kind of pour out like that. That's all you got to do. The problem is that reality comes along in the form of a sucky cloud, just basically keeping that at a constant level. I find older audiences get bummed out by that. Young people are just like, yeah, that's pretty much how it works. Now, you might ask, like, okay, I'm up here talking about success. I'm up here talking about success. You may ask yourself, well, is Brian Longwell successful? Brian Longwell, that is me, in case you've already forgotten who I am. It's a valid question to ask, and the answer is yes. So, you know, I got plenty of stuff going on. I'd make that bigger, but that would be bragging. So let me show you my success path. This is the Brian Longwell success path. So here we are, the Brian Longwell success path. So it starts out here where I was like one of 8 children. That really sucked. I had to pay for college. That sucked as well. But I got a master's degree in electrical engineering, and then I went to work for Bell Laboratories, which used to be the research and development arm of AT&T, back when AT&T was the largest company in the world and not just a crappy cell phone company. By the way, AT&T stands for American Telephone and Telegraph. Next time you go to an AT&T store, ask to see their telegraph coverage map. Parallel to that, I started doing comedy, and with the money I made for doing comedy, I started my own company. I do corporate comedy. I got some real estate. I got a funded 401k. There's a divorce in there. And you might say, well, that sucked. No, that was awesome. Like smashing that sucky glass and all poured out. Which leads me to where I am right now, which is I have a hot wife with a PhD. Why be successful? To get chicks, okay? So by the way, my wife is black. My daughter is adopted from Korea. My stepson looks like he's Puerto Rican or something. So when the 4 of us are together, nobody can figure out what's going on. Now, when I talk to professional speakers about what I do, they always say, this is what you got to have. You have to have a beginning. You need to have an arc to your story. You need to have an ending that pulls it all together in a nice, neat package. But life isn't like this. In life, things start out, they go along, and then they stop suddenly, without warning, leaving things hanging there, awkward and unexplained. Thank you very much.